Yes, Kenya. Tamu sana, tamu sana, tamu sana, yes. Earlier today, William Ruto attended a burial ceremony for Rigathi Gachagwa's brother in Madira constituency, Nyeri County. And as he stood to speak, a woman dressed in yellow started crying out for help. And eventually, this is how it ended.
Sawa sawa, hiyo ni sawa. Aya, Mama Recho yupo hapo atakuona. Sawa, ndio huyo hapo. Asante. Asante sana, asante sana. Thank you. Asante sana. Sorry. Asante sana. Huyo mama tutamshughulikia.
Yes. The woman was eventually thrown out. She was ejected from the ceremony. In this video, I want us to dig deep into that story to see exactly what that means politically and what it tells us about William Ruto and his brand of politics. If you are watching us for the very first time, subscribe, give this video a like. Yes. Looking at that short clip of that woman in yellow being ejected from that burial ceremony, there are 4 things coming out clearly, which I want to explain in details. The first thing coming out clearly, there is a disconnect between William Ruto and the hustlers. William Ruto is not accessible to the hustlers. The hustlers don't just know on how they can reach William Ruto. So anytime they spot William Ruto, they go to some extreme lengths to get a recognition from William Samoei Ruto. That's one thing coming out very clearly. Ruto and the hustlers are not together. William Ruto is now the president. The hustlers are still hustlers where they were. And then secondly, I'm seeing politics of handouts coming out in play here. In that William Ruto has been playing politics of giving fish but not teaching hustlers on how to fish. He has been giving these people handouts. So anytime they see William Ruto, they see him as somebody who has most likely has taken a handout to them. Somebody who is just there to give them handouts. That's also something I'm seeing here. And this is not the first time we are experiencing something like that on the mountain. In fact, such kind of instances are now becoming very common on the mountain. This is not the first time. And that also puts the mountain on the spot. I'm seeing a very high possibility where the mountain residents are actually turning out as beggars. And they are turning out as beggars because they were used to politics of handouts. Politics of being given something small. So anytime they see William Ruto, they see him in terms of handouts. And most likely that woman wanted something small from William Samoei Ruto and from Rachel Ruto, in that she was actually shouting the name of Rachel Ruto. Politics of handouts. And that brand of politics just ends up impoverishing the masses. Yes. The masses, as time goes by, they even become more poorer than they were in the first place. And then thirdly, it's clear William Ruto cheated the hustlers. On the campaign trail, William Ruto was telling the hustlers he was going to form a government with them. And some of them took William Ruto seriously. They took his words to mean literally what he was saying, that when he becomes the president, his government was going to be that of hustlers. And that also just shows the ignorance of naivety of some Kenyans. Yes, some actually thought that William Ruto was serious when he was telling them that he was going to form a government with them. That also just shows clearly that it shows and proves William Ruto was just playing politics. Yes, he cheated the hustlers that he was going to form a government with them. And it's actually now coming out clearly that the regime that went, and this one there is no difference, it's still the same. The hustlers are still hustlers, the ruling class are still ruling class. Yes, Ruto actually cheated the hustlers. And then finally, that woman, the mere fact that she was crying out for help, also just goes on to show the kind of sufferings Kenyans are actually going through in William Ruto's administration. Because immediately William Ruto was sworn in, Ruto's government removed subsidies on fuel and on unga. And as I talk right now, the cost of living has actually skyrocketed. Life is becoming more difficult for the common man. Some cannot even afford to put food on the table. And most likely, that woman dressed in yellow, she wanted to remind William Ruto that actually she supported William Ruto and she's a staunch soldier, or rather a faithful supporter of William Ruto. That's why she was in yellow. But irrespective of the fact that she is a William Ruto supporter, she's finding life very hard for her to bear. So she was just crying out for help because life for her is unbearable. And not only her, life has become very hard for so many hustlers across the country. And that woman is just trying to air, or rather speak, on behalf of millions of hustlers across the country. So it's actually incumbent upon William Ruto to make sure he puts steps of making sure life becomes bearable, for the poor Kenyans. That's also something I'm seeing here, ladies and gentlemen. As I conclude, that incident shows and proves clearly that William Ruto's close associates are also not very sensitive for the plight of the common man. I honestly believe they could have just allowed that lady or that woman to maybe sit near William Ruto or Rachel Ruto for them to have a candid chat there and there, because it's almost certain and very clear that that woman might not meet or see William Ruto again. The only opportunity, I believe, she could have actually had a talk with Ruto or with Rachel Ruto was on that day, on the podium there. But now that she has actually been ejected, I don't think that woman, maybe in her lifetime again, might get that opportunity to meet William Ruto. Let me stop it there, ladies and gentlemen. In case you want to have a chat with me, a discussion, or even to support this channel, I've pinned my number on the comment section. Contact me through the number, or feel free to send any contribution or donation to the number. And to those watching us outside Kenya, drop a comment, let us know from which part of the globe you are watching us from. And if possible, subscribe, give this video a like. Let's meet in our next analysis. Thank you.